Hello.
Well, how do you do?
Feels like it's been forever since we've made a video.
It has been, hasn't it?
It's definitely been a while.
Yeah.
Well, where do we even start?
That's the question.
So much has happened. Where do we even start? Well, we hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We had a great Thanksgiving.
We did, didn't we?
We did. I did all the cooking.
Yes.
I cooked everything.
It was delicious.
But it was a little frustrating because I didn't cook in my own kitchen. Right. The boys, the nephews, Danny and Eric, rented a house and we cooked everything there.
Right.
And their parents came into town and Eric brought his girlfriend over.
Yes.
I mean, she's already part of the family. They've been together for about, 10 years?
9.
But he proposed to her.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Say yes, say yes.
Woo! Yes. So thrilling.
Thanksgiving was really cool. And then Danny decided that we were all going to go to Vegas the next day. He just said, we're all going to Vegas. So we all jumped on a plane.
Yay, Danny.
We went to Vegas. What's up, kid? What are you doing? You like these machines, huh? And he got us a really amazing table at Scarpetta.
Wasn't that amazing?
It was so good. Scarpetta is one of our favorite Italian restaurants in New York and in Las Vegas.
Yes. And
he got us the chef's table, which was a private table in the back. Yeah, that was really fun. The food was incredible.
Yes.
And Vegas was just overall fantastic.
Wonderful.
And then when we were leaving, we all piled onto the plane. And on the way home, everything fell apart.
It did. Because of me.
Yeah, well, not because of you, but we don't know. Holy cow, where do we even start? You were sitting.
Well, I was having a ball and I sat down to board the plane and from there I went downhill.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel right.
Who are you sitting next to? Because I was in the front row. Danny was or Eric was in the front row. Who were you?
Pete.
You were sitting next to Pete and little Pete.
Yeah.
And
my dog.
And your dog. And then Pete said, he came up to me and said, something's wrong with Mom.
Yeah. I told Pete, I can't breathe. I'm having a hard time breathing.
So you were having a hard time breathing. So then I came over and I switched seats with him and I sat next to you. And then you were sweating like horribly. And then you said your jaw, there was an agonizing pain.
My head was thundering like my skull was going to crack open, not holding the inside of my head. And then my jaw, both jaws were aching so bad.
And then you couldn't breathe.
I couldn't breathe.
So
very well. I could breathe.
The flight staff came over. They brought oxygen. They asked if there was a doctor on board. There was not a doctor on board. And there's nothing more terrifying than when somebody you love is having a medical emergency and you're up in the air and you can't get to a hospital or medical professionals. And it was getting worse. It wasn't getting better. Right. And we still had, 30 minutes before we hit the ground. And I was trying my best to stay calm, but I was having a nervous breakdown. I was falling apart.
Oh, baby, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry that you were. We landed and the paramedics got you off the plane. They put you in the ambulance.
Yes.
And then they ran your vitals. The entire flight crew came off, surrounded the ambulance and waited until they got word about you. They were all very, very concerned.
And of course, like always, my vitals are just great.
Yeah, your vitals were fantastic.
My heart rate was 44, which was normal for me for over 20 years.
And the thing about that heart rate is that athletes have a resting heart rate that's very low.
Yes.
And you've always been very athletic. And so your doctors always said your heart rate is naturally very low. And your blood pressure is naturally very low. So there's never any cause of concern when you have low blood pressure and low heart rate. Well, So they said you were fine. It was probably a panic attack.
Right, anxiety.
Anxiety. They said it was probably anxiety and that you would be fine to go home. Well, the next morning we went to your cardiologist.
Right.
And as soon as he saw your heart rate, he said, go downstairs and check yourself into the emergency room immediately.
Yes.
Immediately. He said, you're bleeding. He goes, you're losing blood. Your heart rate is terribly low.
It was plummeting.
Plummeting. So that was awful. We went to the hospital, got you checked in, and the doctors there agreed that you were definitely bleeding.
Yes.
And your heart rate was going into the 30s.
Yeah.
It was dropping into the 30s, and your hemoglobins were down below 4.
Yeah.
And they said that a normal person's is around 15, and that they usually do a blood transfusion at 9, and that below 6 is deadly. And they said that if you would have went to sleep that night, you probably would have just slipped away in your sleep and not woken up.
And so many people told me that.
I know. That was horrifying.
I passed my stress test, didn't even need the medicine. He said 3 times to me, you know, so many people die in their sleep. They just go to sleep and never wake up. And I thought, why did you say that to me 3 times?
Yeah, that was...
a warning.
Yeah, definitely a warning. She had had a stress test just a couple of weeks before, and she passed it with flying colors.
Yeah.
So we didn't understand what that was. They were saying she had a really good heart, a very strong athletic heart. So they gave you a blood transfusion right away. They needed to get your blood levels up.
Yeah.
Then
they couldn't do anything until I got
right.
3 of them.
They said they wanted to explore you for the bleed, where it was coming from,
Yeah.
but they couldn't take the risk until your blood levels came up. So then they gave you another blood transfusion and another blood transfusion. So you had 3 that night, or from that night early in the morning. And I said, you know, if she's bleeding this terribly, you have to go look. And they were like, and then that's when they told me, they were like, if we put her to sleep, she may not wake up. That was awful. Just awful, awful, awful. And I was smiling and joking with you and everything, but I was like curled up in a ball, crying, like scared, praying, you know, in the exact same hospital that we lost Grandma.
Yes.
So that was very frustrating. That was really terrifying. And then
a doctor came in and said, how's your mom?
Yeah. And then they were like, how's Grandma? Not knowing. And then there was another thing where with Grandma had a blood clot. She had a stroke. And they took her off of the blood thinners because they didn't want the bleeding to like continue. And when they took her off of the blood thinners, another clot formed, and then another clot formed. And they said, we don't know. It's a delicate balance of dissolving these clots, preventing clots, and also she's got fresh surgery and not wanting her to bleed out. So they made the decision to put her on blood thinners, and it was disastrous. And so when they told me the same thing with you, they said, we're going to take her off the blood thinners. And I was like, she doesn't take blood thinners. They were like, she takes a baby aspirin a day. We're going to take her off of that so that we can stop the bleeding. Then we're going to give her medication that thickens the blood. And they were like, this could cause a stroke. But if a clot, which could cause a stroke. And then they said, if we don't do that, then the bleeding won't stop. And then it's just overall bad.
I'm just a mess.
And I was having flashbacks of the same thing with Grandma in the same hospital. And I was like, oh. But I reached out on social media, and you had tens of thousands of prayers, thousands and thousands and thousands of
There's power in prayers.
Yeah. People sending their love and their good wishes, their well wishes, their amazing energy and their prayers. And
I wished I could remember the name of that lady that said, I prayed for you, now you are healed. And she was right.
She was right. Well, you're still not healed.
No.
You're still not healed, but you are getting better.
Yeah. Well, I'm still bleeding.
Yes. So they found the source of the bleed, which was a gigantic ulcer.
Yeah.
A
bleeding ulcer.
A bleeding ulcer. It was pretty huge. They repaired it. So we thought they repaired it. They gave you another blood transfusion. We got your blood, your hemoglobin up to 9.
Yep.
So they were happy about that.
Right.
And then we couldn't get your heart rate up.
Yep.
Your heart rate just wouldn't climb.
It was dropping rapidly.
Right. So for 3 days, your heart rate was
37.
It was really low. And they said, we have to give her a pacemaker.
Yeah.
Which was
a shock.
I was definitely a shock, but I was like, now you're going to have a bionic heart. Your heart will always just be beating. And so they gave you the pacemaker. Well, you just got back?
Yes.
I can't believe you're wearing lipstick and false eyelashes after coming out of a procedure.
Well, I applied them before seizure.
Before seizure?
Before surgery. Why are you doing that?
Well, so you can have it.
Okay.
So you've done it.
I'm a new woman now.
A new woman.
I'll probably be doing cartwheels in a couple months.
The next day, you were in excruciating pain.
Oh, the worst.
Screaming like in labor. Like
I had to claw if anybody come near me. I just, get away.
Yeah, they said something's not right. You shouldn't have this much pain. They thought that they had stitched the wire to a nerve.
Yes.
Because your left arm didn't move.
Oh, it was so painful.
It was raw. Oh my gosh, it was awful. But you said you wanted to let it heal a little bit before they did anything.
Yes.
And you waited, and it got better.
Yes.
And it's been steadily getting better.
Yes.
You've got movement in your arm.
Yes.
Pain's better.
Yes.
Okay, so all of those things are wonderful.
Yes.
Your hemoglobins are still dropping again.
Yes.
So now they think you're still bleeding somewhere.
Yes.
You're saying yes quite a bit. There's a lot of yes.
They want to do an angiogram now.
Right. They're gonna see if you have a blockage in your heart. They want to also go do some scoping inside and see if they can find more bleeding. Another thing that you've been dealing with that we haven't really spoken about is that you've been very anemic for several years.
Very.
To the point where they thought you had leukemia.
Right.
A couple years ago, and you had bone marrow taken out.
Oh.
Which was awful.
Twice. I've had 2 bone marrow biopsies.
I held your hand through those and watched him take that bone marrow out.
Wasn't drilling that a huge needle?
That was all. That was. Oh, but they ruled out leukemia.
Yep.
After many, many tests. They just don't know why you're not making red blood cells.
Yep.
They have no idea why you're not making them, and you're continually still not making them.
Right.
So we still don't have the answers.
Right.
But your heart is better.
I'm strong. I feel good. I can dance again. You know, that doesn't bother me, I guess, because I still want to dance. All that, and I don't. I don't.
Well, you don't feel as weak anymore.
No, I feel very strong.
You feel very strong. Your heart is in good shape. Your stomach is in good shape.
Yep. So I'm in good shape. I'm dancing again.
Well, we just got to figure out a few more things, but we will figure it out.
Yeah.
And just the difference from, you know, the hospital days to this are remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable. How do you feel? How does it feel having a pacemaker?
I didn't know I have one.
You don't really notice it?
No.
Do you feel less tired? Do you feel more energetic? Do you feel less dizzy? Like, do you feel any difference?
I feel a lot more energetic.
And you've been pretty energetic your whole life.
Yes.
You're pretty energetic, but then you were getting really tired.
Oh, I was, before all of this, I couldn't even stand up to do the dishes. I would have to go, and I do my own dishes, not a dishwasher. And I couldn't finish it. I'd have to go lay down thinking, well, I'm so tired. I can't do this. Or to mop or sweep the floor. I couldn't do the whole thing like I used to. I had to break it up into segments because I was so insanely tired. Just exhausted.
Well, yeah, because you were losing blood.
Yeah.
For all of this, for months, this has been going on.
Yes.
On top of not making red blood cells and being severely anemic.
Yeah.
And having a really, 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 really low heartbeat.
Yes. It was wearing me out. I had to slap it down a couple times and just keep on going.
But on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel now?
20.
20?
I feel good.
You feel good?
Yes. They keep wanting to find something wrong with me, and I keep giving them a reason not to.
You're going to live much longer than Grandma.
Well, let's say that it's all in the... I'll be in the arms of my Lord.
Well,
when that day comes, and I won't be sorry.
Well, I'll be sorry.
Well, I know, but just think of who I'm going to be living with.
Well, you won't be living with me, and that I don't like. And that's the thing isn't that the eternal struggle with life and death, is that you're happy for
That's far down the road.
Really far down the road. Really far down.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was just an update. We'll get back to making our videos soon. But anything else you want to say?
I just want to thank you all so very much for being so kind and tender in my doom days. But now it's over. We can all be happy.
Well, they're always kind and tender.
Always.
Always. They've always been kind and tender. There is nobody in the world more kind and tender than our social media family.
Yes.
They are. We really got lucky with the group of people that we have, because they are kind and tender is a really nice way to describe them.
Yes.
That's really nice. I think that
I love them all so
I do
much.
too. I do too. The messages, the comments, the cards. Woo, just overwhelming with gratitude.
Beautiful.
I'd like to say thank you too.
They're the beautiful people.
They really, really are the beautiful people. Thank you all. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas. And Mom, you look very Christmassy with your little stocking cap and your little sweater. You look like one of Santa's helpers.
Oh, stop. Thank you.
You look really adorable.
Thank you.
Hopefully we get another video up before Christmas. I'm sure we will.
I hope so.
We will.
I want to do another dance video.
Oh, well, we'll do another dance video for sure. You guys, YouTube has this weird thing with music, and I can't post her dance videos on here. They take them off. They say there's copyright problems. But if you go to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, you know, there are a few videos that are up there that you guys haven't had a chance to see, because YouTube's copyright lawyers they're kind of rotten. They don't let me post those dance videos. They just give me these notices. So if you go over to TikTok or to Instagram or to YouTube, in the About Us, there is a link, and that kind of links to all the other social media places. You can see some of those. And we just did 2 dancing videos yesterday.
Yes.
And I think you're going to have to get out and probably do another one right now.
No, you think?
I think you're going to have to do one right now. Maybe we can do one for the people. Do one for the people.
And one for the Gipper.
We'll do it without music.
Okay.
All right, let's get out of the car. We'll do this.
Okay.
All right, everybody. This is for the YouTubers. It's not going to have music, but Mom wants to give you. You know, I'm surprised you can even walk in those hills, let alone kind of do any kind of movement. Well, you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Good. I'm very happy.
I am too.
I love you.
I love you too.
We love all of you.
Bye.